Peace, peace, family, peace. Now, as you can see from the title, I felt this needed to be dealt with because it seems like um, Black people need some tools. They need a re-education on how to deal with this thing called racism. I stand alone. Come on in. I'll wait for some people to come on in. Gad Zama, how you doing? Get on in. Benjamin Park, how you doing? Yeah, I need to have a talk about this because I hear some big zone. What's good, brother? I hear some stuff that just makes me like cringe. About racism. Indigenous DNA was good. Around the world's in the house. Okay, on holiday in Sweet Tobago. Okay, good for you, bro. Good for you. Mark One UK. Okay, Boss NYC. Good. What's going on? Yeah, fam. I feel like the elephant picture all looks 3D. Yeah, this situation, this racism thing, is. Oh, hang on. Okay, sorry. Yeah, this racism thing. This is how I deal with racism. Okay. First of all, Titans TV in the building. First of all, this is just my thing. Racism has existed, right, for thousands of years. Okay, we can all, agree that racism has existed for a long time. Now, this thing called racism doesn't seem to be going anywhere anytime soon. It doesn't. Okay, if we're all honest with ourselves. So, a response to racism and something that isn't going anywhere anytime soon, for me, should not be an emotional response. What I find is that a lot of Black people, especially, right, seem to want to deal with racism emotionally. Now, if somebody calls me a nigger, right, and I get emotionally triggered by that, and I say punch them in their face, right? Have I changed racism? Have I affected racism? I don't believe I have. I believe I'd done something that felt good to me to try and, combat that person's racism. But to me, racism is institutional more so than, one person calling me a nigger. That's how I view racism, right? So me punching that person in the face might have felt good at the time, right? But what did I really adversely affect? You see, for me, racism adversely affects the lives of people. It does. It adversely affects the lives of people. And I feel like Black people get so emotionally triggered by words, right? And get offended that they miss the ball. Now, what you can do in an institutionally racist place is move according to the rules and regulations, right, of the society. Now, Black people have enough people around them, right, to adversely affect their own lives. So racism cannot adversely affect their life. We can get economically and socially, okay, aware of our position. If I was to call a Chinese man a chink, what does that do to China or Chinese people generally? He probably wouldn't even pay me any mind. He'd probably laugh at me, to tell the truth, because his country, his nation, his people are in a supreme position right about now, and my words ain't really adversely affecting his life. The reason why I feel like, oh, how you doing, big bro? Yeah, give me a call at the end of the show, man. A reason why I feel like Black people get so triggered by words is because they have no power. We have little power to adversely affect and change our lives. So we get triggered by the words which make us emotional. Now, like I said this before, imagine you lived in Wakanda, let's just say. the most beautiful place ever, you know, riches and all kinds of stuff. If somebody came over and said to you, nigger, what would that really do? You'd be like, you look around Wakanda and be like, mate, looks like you're the nigger around these parts. You see this? And it would give you some kind of confidence within yourself that you wouldn't need to be emotionally triggered. So me personally, I don't get emotionally triggered by racist words. I don't. People have called me nigger. I don't get emotionally triggered by them. Because what I'm trying to do, okay, is I am trying to build something where I can be in a position where people's words and how people actually feel about me doesn't even matter. Because I'm still going to be pushing through, doing what I'm doing. Because what people tend to do is they tend to be your bitch. Oh, sorry, they tend to be your master and you tend to be their bitch. Because if I can say something to you, right, and instantly I can trigger you, I'm your master. You think you're in a power position because I don't know what you responded with aggression. Nah, bro. This is a psychological game. Okay. And so if I have the power psychologically to just say something to you and just instantly trigger you, I'm the one in the power position. Me. And you're allowing me to be in that power position. I'm going to allow you to trigger me with some words. No, I'm just going to go on and do what the fuck I'm doing. That's what I'm going to do. I'll be like, all right, yeah, I know. I will register it and be like, yeah, that guy called me a nigger, etc., etc. Racism to me isn't words, man. Racism to me is institutions. Like, if that person that thought, if that person, hang on, I've got a pop-up coming on my computer. If that person that thought you were a nigger now is in an institution that has the power to adversely affect your life, then that thought of them being a nigger, of you being a nigger, sorry, can really adversely affect your life. So say they were in education, okay, and they were your teacher, for instance, and they thought of you as a quote unquote nigger. Now these are the ones that are giving you your education. So they can withhold education from you. They can make you dumb effectively because of their position, because it's institutional. It's institutional. Some drunk dude on the street, right, that called me a nigger or does call you whatever racial slur, he ain't adversely affecting your life. I mean, if you want to go punch him in the face, go ahead. If that's what you want to do, that's up to you. But me, I ain't got time. I prefer to create a system myself that I don't have to be adversely affected by the institutions. That's what I would prefer to do. However, you know, some people deal with it differently and feel the need to. I'm going to take questions in a minute, Takia Watch. Prefer to deal with it differently and get all emotional and violent, and I don't know, man. I think no person, no, there have been many people that have been beaten up because of their racism. Many in this life. Has racism stopped? No, it hasn't. Many people have been, punched in the face, plotted and schemed upon. And has racism stopped? No. I said I don't believe it's going anywhere anytime soon. But I'm not going to be emotionally triggered by it. That's just me. I'm not going to be emotionally triggered by, some word. But the thing is, we can identify racist institutions or when racism is attempting to adversely affect the lives of people, right? But then what are we going to do about that? As Black people, what are we going to do? We're going to sit down, bitch and complain, or create a system for yourself that doesn't allow you to be so adversely impacted by people's racism. And that's what I feel like Black people should actually be heading towards when it comes to racism, and not be so emotionally, triggered by words. That's just me. Some people are, because to tell the truth, Black people hear the word nigger every day. Generally, when we turn on our music, we hear the word nigger every day. So it's not like, it all depends on who's saying it now, So now we are choosing when the word is said, who says it, and how to be triggered by it. Okay, so I'm just saying, listen, if you want to give words power, by all means, go ahead. I think it was Richard Pryor who said in a comedy skit that he used the word nigger so many times, and he went to Africa, and he said he never saw any niggers over there. He just saw, you know, Africans and black people. I don't know what he meant by that, but to me, what it done for him is that he stopped using the word, because he was like, I don't see any niggers over here. Maybe a nigger now in this day and age, I don't know, is like a mental thing. I don't know, because it's used so much that it seems the word seems to be getting, you know, confused and convoluted, and I don't understand what the word means anymore to people. I know what it means to me. I don't use a word, and I understand what the word means in historical context. But it seems like people are using that word now just freely. I see Mexicans using the word nigger. I see white people using the word nigger. I see black people using the word nigger. I'm like, bro, like who's a nigger now? Like who's a nigger? I don't know. In their eyes, I know what I believe a nigger is, but it seems like the word's getting convoluted now. You know, it seems like the word's confusing. Like, who's a nigger now? What, the Mexican guy's allowed to say it? What, the white guy's allowed to say it now? Who's the one that's allowed to say it now? You know? I don't know. Right, let's look at the chat now. Big Bro says Japanese were totally disrespected in the 80s. Yes, even by Prince Philip. They bought out the car manufacturing in the UK and stopped it. Build businesses, get educated, then fight. Could have said it better myself, Big Bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. I could have said it better myself. You know, like, what are you gonna just be triggered by a word? Or are you gonna like really build up your economic base and say, okay, cool, we got some clout now. You know, we can do shit now. Or are you just gonna be crying bitch over a word? I don't know. The word is losing meaning, says D7. It's crazy. Richard Pens 1 says, Sarah, you're 100% correct. I agree with Richard Pryor. Niggers are like black people in blackface. Wow. Hawaii says, true, Sarah. Miss London Yoruba says, yeah, and there were crazy explanations for the damn word. I'm telling you, listen, I'm telling you, I thought I knew what the word meant. Yeah, I thought I knew what the N word was until I started seeing Mexicans and white people using the word nigger. And I'm like, hang on. Hang on a minute. So they're allowed to use this word now. Tekashi 6ix9ine mentioned the word nigger 32 times in a 3-minute song, says Big Bro. And he's a Mexican. That's very true. Are we not triggered by that? He's not black. He's not black. He's actually Mexican. Are we triggered by Tekashi 6ix9ine saying it? Oh, 1 second, fam. 1 second. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah. I don't know who to be triggered by now. Should I be triggered by a Mexican saying it? I mean, I'm not triggered by it anyway, but when are we gonna, who's okay to say it now? He's being a part of that community, said human being. Really? I don't know. Okay, according to your definition of racism, should Saeed be called a racist due to Pakistani or Muslims' lack of institutional power in the UK? Well, Pakistanis hold quite a bit of power in the UK, if we actually look at what they own, and Muslims. You know, Muslims own quite a bit of power in the UK. I'm not going to lie to you. Sarah Garvey, when non-blacks use a word, it's because they want to aspire to it. It's association to the hood, gang violence. It makes one feel more manly. Really? Using the word nigger makes me feel more manly. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm confused about this word, people. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. Nigger makes them want to feel more manly. So niggers are manly now. Wow. I didn't know that. I didn't know nigger makes me feel more manly. Is that why the KKK used it? To make them feel more manly? I don't know. You know, that's what I'm trying to say. It's weird to me. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know what's going on. Okay, I can see the logic. Said truth, tell the truth, shame the devil. If they lacked power, he said, what he said, could it be called racist due to lack of institutional power? No, because I believe racism is institutional. That's what I believe. I believe it's an institution. Sarah, how do you feel about people posting links in the chat? You can post a link in the chat. I don't mind. Melanated Goddess, go for it. True political and representation of Pakistan UK. I think you say privilege, nepotism. Shivites Janganath says, big up, Sarah. How you doing? You feeble Negro, stop talking problems. Submit to the solution. Submit your black self. IC3, Black National Party, BNP, Speaker's Corner, Hyde Park, free speech, national radicalism, Nazi, not Nazi. Says, okay. Is it racism assumption of character traits based on race? I should leave you in that island lost. It's a PC Speaker's Corner. 10 mayors in the UK are Muslims. They have power and they're using it. There you go. I mean, there you go. You know, they are using it. Without institutional power, would you call it discrimination instead of maybe another term? Exactly, Takia Watch. You know, there's race prejudice, there's racial discrimination. But I just feel like racism is institutional. I think everyone's race prejudice to some degree. I've always said this. I said all people are race prejudice to some degree. I don't care who you are. I'm not listening to you if you tell me you're not race prejudice to some degree. You cannot be raised in this quote unquote society and not be race prejudice to some varying degree. It could be minor, it could be major. Okay. And you know what? Most of the time, I would say it's probably okay to have racial prejudices. It's not okay to hate people, but it's okay to be, I think it's okay to aspire to be with your own more so than anybody else. I think that's natural, personally. I just don't see why people cannot say certain words, free speech. But control is pretty easy, but self-control is pretty easy. I mean, I don't know what that means, Benjamin Park, but like I said, I get confused about the word nigger now, you know. I get confused about who's allowed to use it. Just because I look on this younger generation, I'm like, you did hear what you said, right? You did hear what the non-black person said, right? And they're like, yeah, he's nigger, man, this nigger. And I'm like, the fuck is going on here? I don't know. Should someone have the freedom to hate? Of course, that's a freedom. You can hate. You have the freedom to hate something. What happens is that if you're smart because you can have the freedom to do that, but you have to think about, you smart or you dumb? Like, what do you think is going to happen when you hate someone? Just what do you think is going to happen? You know, like you're free to do it though, but having a little bit of foresight might help when you're doing that. I like the way you phrase that, Sarah, protection as opposed from a threat to leading to hate. Yeah, I mean, everyone protects their own. I had this conversation with somebody who said, oh, you hate people. I said, bro, you ain't got time to hate. They said, oh, you're a nationalist. I'm like, bro, two children are in a fire. One of them is mine, one of them is yours. I got to save one of them. And it's not because I hate your child that I'm saving mine. I didn't save my child because I hated your child. I saved my child because my child was the one that needed saving because I have an affiliation, and vice versa. If two children are in a house, one's my child, one's your child, I can't expect you to save my child, bro, because you're going to save yours. And I can't say, oh, logically speaking, I can't say when my child is not saved, I can't say the reason why that person didn't save my child is because they hated my child. No, that would be silly. That would be totally stupid. They didn't not save my child because they hated my child. They saved their child because that's who they have an affiliation with. That's not racism, and that's not like, that's just natural human. That's just what human beings do naturally. Off with fairies, Tommy is a waste man, bro. Why are you not talking about Tommy Robinson, bro? Like, go somewhere else. This is even a Tommy Robinson conversation. So, Bobby, should people be smart with speech as they should be smart with hate? Smart with speech, smart with hate. I don't know. I don't understand the question. Uh, if any of my it's just okay, it's just a troll. Okay. Anfield Road End. How you doing? Well, go on. I would try to save both, or at least one first, and could get into a situation. Red Nose. The thing is, you could only save. Listen, if you got time to save both, after you save yours, if you got time, go ahead. But I'm talking about like if it's just like yours or theirs, you're gonna choose yours. You know, you're just gonna like, and I don't expect anyone to do. I'm not gonna lie. I don't expect anyone to save my child. I don't. And this is what I tell people about institutions. Talking about institutions earlier. I'm going to go in like 5 minutes, fam. Talking about institutions, like the education system, if you expect the education system to properly give your child the full education that you want your child to have, you're an idiot. You are. Because that institution gives education based on a syllabus and it only goes so far. If you want your child knowing more, you give them the education because the institution doesn't love your child. The institution is there to educate your child to a certain degree, but doesn't love your child. You love your child. So you want to see the absolute best for your child. So what you should do is get smarter, use the education system for what it is, and then love your child that little bit more than the education system does and teach them what you want them to teach, what you want them to learn. I would die to save your child, honestly. But I would save my own first and probably never sleep again. That's true, but you know, you just have to deal with that. You know, how do you feel about the idea that the dictionary doesn't count with the word racism somehow if you don't have power? Well, like I said, I believe racism is institutional, so I would believe it. I would sway more so to you needing to have power to be to properly implement racism. You need to have power to do that. That's just my own thing because, like I said, I could call a Chinese guy chink tomorrow, and what's that doing? Okay, it's a racially prejudiced slur, of course, 100%. But is it racism? Because I believe racism adversely affects people's lives. That's just what I believe. I don't think that Chinese guy is going to be that affected by me calling him a chink. I don't think he's not going to sleep at night. He's still going to have his job, still going to be paying his mortgage. You know, his children are still going to be going to school. In South Africa, would you say there's racism towards white farmers since black people's holds an international power? Right, fantastic question. I say to Kia Watch, in that instance, see, there's still, I would still say no, and I tell you why. Because it might be tricky, because what's happening in South Africa is a reaction to actual racism, if that makes sense. So it's like the black people, a lot of them are now reacting to the action that they had. It's like a retaliation. If you want to call it reverse racism, you can maybe try, but it's a reaction. Like, because the first action was done to them, you know, apartheid, and you know that shit was real, and they remember that shit. So now it's like, I'm gonna react to you doing that. It's like you punching me in the face, and then I punch you back in the face, and you're gonna be like, oh, you punched me in the face, and I'm like, yeah, that's because you punched me though. Like, if you didn't punch me, then we really wouldn't have a problem. We wouldn't actually be here fighting if you didn't initially punch me in the face, but you did. And so I'm probably gonna punch you back. And that's why I keep telling people, be careful of the doors that you open, because when you start some shit, you don't know how it's going to end. And that's why I said to people, I think South Africa is going to play out the way it's going to play out due to the way in which South Africa started. I really do. And I'm not condoning it. Oh, Miss KK, what's good? I'm telling you, I'm not saying, yeah, go out and kill all the white farmers. And I'm not saying that. I'm saying I'm going to watch it, because that is the natural, for every action, there is a natural reaction. There's going to be a reaction to your action. So you have to be smart enough to say, okay, should I punch this guy in the face? No, let me not, because I don't know how that's going to end, because I could get up in a fight, you know. But people weren't smart enough. Like, in today's society, I think we're smart enough to not start some shit like that, you know. But I guess You know, people weren't smart enough to do that. Neanderthal burying their head. Oh, burying their head, bigger and bigger brains for humans. Okay, I don't understand that. Like the reaction to terrorism. I guess. Like, I just don't think. Says I stand alone, says Sarah. That's incorrect. Those farmers are innocent. You can't say because you punched me first, I punch you after. So that's the thing, standalone. When you say the farmers are innocent, I don't disagree with you there. But what I'm saying is the farmers are on land, obviously, that the African people, well, it was taken from African people. And they remember that. And I keep telling people, stop acting like you don't remember your history. The British remember their history. And I'm telling you, 100%, the British people know that if it's 2018, if in 2018 the Chinese invaded the UK, right, and took the UK over and took all the land away from the people of the UK, and for 500 years they had it, the descendants of the people of the UK would tell their children, listen, this is our land, you know, it ain't theirs, it's ours. Don't let them fool you, it's ours. This is our land, it's ours. And they'll repeat that. For 500 years, they will never ever forget that this is their land. And if ever those children, those great grandchildren got in a position where they could take the land back from the Chinese, knowing that it's not Chinese land, they'd take it. They just would. Let's not act like they wouldn't. They would take it back because the British are proud people. They say, no, this is our land. And you have to understand that the Africans in South Africa are just as proud. That's why I keep telling people, stop running into people's houses and thinking you can claim their stuff. Because at some point in time, those people are going to want it back. And it doesn't really matter that it's 100, 200, 300, 400 years after. People never forget. They just don't. Okay? So I don't think people ever forget. I don't think people ever forget, man. And the thing is, would you want them to? Because then they say, you know, if you forget your history, you forget your past, you're deemed to repeat it, right? So then you ask yourself, would we want to actually forget the mistakes that we've made in the past? I don't think you should. Right, shit. It's 2:00. Family, I got to peace out. I got stuff to do. But yeah, initially, that's how I react to racism. If you go back and rewind the video. Thank you everyone for tuning in. And I'm going to say again, tune in soon. We don't have a date yet, but soon, myself and Big Bro have our talk show coming. Please tune in. It's coming your way. We're trying to get it out before Christmas. Okay, before Christmas. It's going to be a good one. Okay, so tune in, watch the train, join the train, jump on the train, and yeah, we'll see you soon. Peace, family. Peace.